I want to cycle back to your initial comment about the Giants letting people know how much homework they've done on J.J. McCarthy.
Yeah.
I asked J.J. here, I'm like, hey, before I let him go yesterday, do you have any idea where you think you're going?
Yeah.
And I asked that of Penix on a Zoom earlier today, and he's like, I have no idea. And JJ's like, well, I'm thinking New York Giants. And he started talking about how they met twice, that they had him throw on Easter, which is a new one for him, as he said.
Yeah.
And then he started talking about, how Kafka and Daboll have Alabama ties, and Josh Gaddis was an Alabama guy who went
run
to
the
Michigan,
version of that offense,
and he knows the terminology. And he went in on it. And so the concept of the Giants wanting people to know how much work they've done on him as a smokescreen to get more prospects that they are interested in closer down to them, like, is that really a conscious decision that is made by a team? And when do they finally make that decision to start screening some smoke? Like, how does that happen?
Well, I think everything you got from JJ obviously is authentic and honest.
Of course, from him.
100% from him.
Right.
The question is, how many of those other quarterbacks have the Giants done the same amount of work and spent the same amount of time with? So, that makes that conversation a little different. And absolutely, I know of teams that will call information guys and will call people that they know will get the word around, hey, where's he going? Where's this guy going? Where's this guy going? And it's a lot. It just seems like a lot that's out there.
But what I'm asking is, when is the tipping point from they are legitimately doing their homework on the kid?
Oh,
to
100%.
saying like, now we're going to move on despite having done all we've done enough of our homework to start moving on from the due diligence phase to the smokescreen phase.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you make it through the process, so once the coaches have gotten involved and then you go through it, and they might say, hey, we like him, but for us, right now the decision could be Neighbors. We feel like Neighbors bringing him in with what we have, we can make it work with Daniel Jones, and we brought in Drew Lock, and there's a dividing line. You're always comparing your roster, who you have, versus the players you could potentially pick. And you will take, like a lot of teams, if you were looking at a quarterback, you'll take your current starter, you'll go up to the board. Well, it used to be the board with the magnets. Now it's all on a computer and a projection. But you would go, okay, Daniel Jones, where does it stop? Okay, we have Caleb, we have Jaden, whatever order, we have Drake. But then after that, we might say, okay, now it becomes more even. We feel like maybe JJ's not that upgrade over there. This is a scenario of how this works. And then you say, okay, well, this is the line, and then we would just take the receiver.
So we've already termed New England as having to get one.
Yeah.
Washington has to get one. Chicago's going to get one. Then you've got Minnesota, and you've got Denver, and you've got the Raiders.
Quarterback alley, 11 through 13.
And you have the Giants. But you've got 6 with a potential first-round grade. Which one do you think is the team that could most afford to have us show up on this show Friday saying they didn't get one?
Yeah.
Which one do you think is that?
It's interesting. I would say
I only ask those questions.
Yeah, that's a good question. 12 and 13. I would say Denver and the Raiders. You could make a case. There's a lot of roster work to be done there, So we can go with we're going to try and fill some of these holes, and then we'll address the quarterback down the line. But saying that, I just go back to the Raiders. You're in Las Vegas. I just find it hard to believe. I don't envision the billboard with Gardner Minshew up there that gets your city and your fan base pumped up. Whereas Michael Penix, who can absolutely spin it, it's like there's some hope and something to dream on. They have a lot of other roster holes they need to take care of. You're not going to be able to get that done in this draft, but thinking more long term outside of this year.
So the team that could most afford to come out without the quarterback?
Denver is the one. I just feel like Sean Payton, they made the move with Russell. I feel like they're thinking a little bit ahead. Are they going to trade? They just got done trading all the picks before he got there for a quarterback. It doesn't feel like they're going to try and be aggressive. They have no second-round pick. This, to me, feels like, okay, we've got Jarrett Stidham. We've got a reclamation project here in Zach Wilson. We're going to get a quarterback. Ideally, you trade back. The scenario I had, they trade back into the 20s. You get an extra pick, and you get Bo Nix. But in terms of missing out on those top 5, if we're going to say Penix is 5, I think of those teams, I would say Denver is the one that could most afford to miss the ride.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.